Life's not all sunshine and rainbows like people want you to think it is. The world can be a cruel place, often because people make it that way. Human beings can be a lot of things. And I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut? Guess again. I'm Johnny V. Welcome to the youfa channel. Hey guys, I've really been slacking off the past couple months. I'm sorry about that. I just don't... Sometimes I think to myself, why even bother making these videos? Well, the answer to that is because 30 or 40 of you watch me consistently every week, and I appreciate that loyalty, and I owe you something every Friday. So, in spite of saying that, since it's the Christmas season, I don't feel comfortable expressing my anger so much. So for the next couple weeks, I'm going to do pleasant videos. And then after the first of the year, I'll go back to my old miserable self. How's that sound? So for the past week, 2 weeks, for some reason, funny stories have been popping into my head. And the other night, one popped into my head from high school, and I just could not stop laughing. And the reason is because when it occurred back in high school, I couldn't stop laughing. It was the old cliche, the dorky kids sit in the front of the classroom and the mouthy kids sit in the back. Not necessarily the case, but when you're a teenager, that's your perception. So we had this kid that sat in the front of the class and he answered every question. And his last name was Dilks. So every time he raised his hand and he answered a question, somebody in the class would go, Dilks. Every time the poor kid said something, Dilks. So the teacher finally said, look, if I hear that one more time, I'm keeping this whole class after school. Without fail, 5 minutes later, Dukes, that's it. The whole class is staying after school. So after school, I run into a friend of mine. I said, yo, you want to ride home? He goes, yeah. I said, all right, well, you have to wait because I have detention. And instead of asking me what the detention's for or anything like that, the first thing out of his mouth is, anything I can do? I said, yeah. As a matter of fact, I got a good idea. So we're sitting in the classroom after school, and the kids are filing in one after the other. Once the class got filled, the teacher basically pounded her chest with this little mini speech about how you kids are going to learn to behave in my class, blah, blah, blah. A few minutes later, in the back door yells this voice, Dukes! Bam! And he slams the door. And I laughed so hard for so long, I couldn't breathe. Me and this guy, Jim and Frank, next to me, they didn't even know what was happening, but they suspected who it was and who was up to it. So we were barely catching our breath, and about 10 minutes later, my friend comes back, and he slams the front door of the classroom. He puts his foot up on it and he kicks it. Bam! And he slams that door. And the laughter just started up over again. Maybe you don't think this is funny, but the irony of the whole class staying after school for screaming Dukes, and the fact that we all had an alibi and the word Dukes comes screaming in the back door was hilarious to all of us. Especially me. I still think it's funny. Hey, Dokes, you were a good guy. No hard feelings. But I hope you're living a good life. That's all I got, folks. I'll give you another laugh hopefully next Friday. Johnny V here, soon to be the most hated man in America for telling it like it is. Have a good weekend, everybody.